Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is huge. Look at the size of that bag. This is it's my party bag, and it actually is open at the top. It's not folded over. It's just a little optical illusion, but because I wanted to show off two patterns of the paper, and in our new spring catalogue, and I don't do this very often, I don't open the catalogue on film, but in our spring catalogue we have lots of different suites, so as you go through it, and this is a section called It's My Party, which is fabulous, and it's all about parties. I kind of think there's party season all year round, but I like to think of the spring as being my party season. It's my birthday. 2 of my sons have got birthdays at the same time as me. 3 of my nephews and my niece. There's all of us all in a 6-week period, so parties are my thing. But in here is this wonderful, wonderful, enormous designer series paper stack. It is 48 12 by 12 sheets. It's huge, and it's only £23.50, and you get all of these gorgeous papers, and you get 4 of each of them. So it really is, you can make party bags, you can make goodies, and all sorts of amazing stuff. We've got a bundle down here, and that's this stamp set with these 3 adorable little punches, of which I have one here on a bundle. Love it, love it, love it. There's an embossing folder, cardstock pack, and this has been genius since last summer when Stampin' Up started doing it. A cardstock pack to go with the paper, marvellous. And on to the next page as well, we've got candy dots to match, we've got washi tape, we've got gorgeous twine, and then there's another bundle here which is this stamp set and these pop-up thinlits. Now, I don't do very much die cut work these days, so I haven't got these myself, although I do have this stamp set, but they make these remarkable cards, and I know quite a lot of my girls and my team, and some of the chaps actually as well, have got this, and they've been sharing photos in the PootlesPapercraft forum. So, like I say, I don't particularly show the catalogue. Couldn't resist. Love it. Okay, let's make this bag. You need a full sheet of paper. 12 by 12 inches, 30.5 by 30.5 centimetres. How stunning is that? Isn't it gorgeous? Love it. I love stuff on black backgrounds, even in springtime. But then I am quite contrary, so, you know. There we go. Okay. So, with your pattern going in the direction you want, we are going to score that way first. And I'll give you the imperial measurements, and then I will give you the metric. So, my pattern, my balloons are going up the way I want them. Nobody wants sideways balloons. 2 inches, 5 3/4, 7 3/4, and 11.5 inches. Okay, and in metric that is 5, 14.5, 19.5, and 29 centimetres. Turn it round so your balloons are now sideways. Score it at 2 inches and 10 inches, which is 5 and 25.5 centimetres. So the finished dimensions of the bag, it's a whopper. It's 8 inches tall, 3 3/4 of an inch wide, 2 inches that way, which is 20.5 centimetres to there, 9.5 to there, and 5 centimetres to there. So, okay, let's fold these score lines and give them a burnish, because it is such a big bag. You don't want wibbly lines. Nobody wants a wibbly score line. Do you know what? Because there's black in it, I think it's very easy in the crafting world that we sort of head down the pretty girly, floaty route. But you know, when you've got 4 sons, and well, actually until 9 months ago I didn't have any nieces, only had nephews. I think it's very easy to go the girly route, but I can see this black being very much more boy. We like that. Okay, so I've got my pattern facing the right way up, and I've got my score lines, but I have to bend them in a certain way. So this one at the bottom, which you can just see there, this is the bottom of the box. So you would fold that in. But at the top of the paper, this one is going to be the part that folds over. So you need to fold that towards yourself. Okay, so bits to remove. You're not going to see it that way around because it's black, so I'm going to flip it over. So we've got all our score lines here and at the bottom, and you've got a thin section. We don't need the thin bit above and we don't need the thin bit below, but we do need that part. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of the one at the top and the one at the bottom. So if I bring that in as much as you can see, so that's what I've removed. And then again, double checking you've got the bottom of the bag. We're going to cut up these score lines here, and there's 3 of them. Okay, so there's 3 of those, but leave the top one intact. And we're going to stick that down because I need it stuck down before I start building the bag. So I'm just going to run. Oh, I couldn't decide whether to pick up the fast fuse or the snail then, so I've just grabbed fast fuse, it was there. So fold that over, give it a good push, so it will now bend round as you close up your box. So this part here, let's get some fast fuse down there. So that's the back of the box now. So fold in the sides, and depending on what you're putting in it as to how much adhesive you put in, but I'm not putting anything in mine yet. So I'm just going to run adhesive on what has become the front of the bag. And stick that up. So essentially, I mean, you could stick a whole load of tissue paper in that and put presents in. I'm closing it up because that's what I do. So I'm just going to close it round by pushing in, you can see there, and you can manipulate down. This is a bit like the very mini bag I made last week or the week before, can't remember when. And I'm now going to use my black and mint macaroon thick baker's twine. Oh, it's all stuck to me. Okay, and I want 3 lengths of it because I'm going to go around 3 times. So and I couldn't tell you how much that is. I have just done that by eye. So there's my 3 lengths. I'm going to grab a couple of pegs just to hold the bag closed for me while I put it all together. You know, I only have 2 hands, so this helps by having a 3rd hand, essentially. Just tie it around and then tie a bow. Trying to keep hold of all 3 lengths at the same time. Yeah, I managed it. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim off these bits here. So that's the bag closed. So I just want to do the decoration now. And what I've got, because I knew what the size was, I know that the size of this bag is 3 3/4 inch. My piece of paper is 3 by 3 inches, so I've taken 7.5 by 7.5 centimetres. I went for the Party Wishes stamp set. I did Yay Presents on that one. I'm going to do Happy Birthday on this one. I'm just going to grab my block, and I'm using Stampin' Right markers because I want them to be coloured differently. Now, this is going to be a video full of tips today. If you have never used markers or stamping on a stamp before, you almost have to prep it. So I'm putting my ink sideways. Don't ever go like that with your markers. Use your brush tip. It's almost a case of I'm breaking it in. So I've got my mint macaron on my basic black, and I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but because this is a brand new stamp that I've never stamped before, the ink is slightly separating. I think we can probably, I don't know that you're seeing that, I'm trying to autofocus for you. Can you see it on the T? Just sort of halfway down, it's separating, so that would mean that it wouldn't stamp perfectly. So you have to do this first. It's quite good fun. Give it a huff. and stamp it. So obviously you can see that would no way have been, I would not have been happy with that at all. And now you come back over and do it again, and it's like I say, it's almost as though you've gone, yay, I trust you, stamp, and I've prepped you. It's kind of like seasoning the pan, I suppose. If you're into cooking, that would make sense to you. Makes sense to me anyway, and I did learn it the hard way when I stamped directly onto a project, and it was the last stage I was doing, and I hadn't never stamped with that particular image before and messed it up completely. I was not a happy bunny. Okay, so just moisten it with your breath. There we go, I've just huffed on that. And then I'm going to stamp down at the bottom, and I'm trying not to get my head on camera. And oh, typically I would with it, but there we go. That's my stamping. Let's get a scrap of white, and I'm going to take the little balloons, put those up on a mini block, and then I'm going to take the string as well. So I'm going to stamp my balloons. I'm just going to, I probably could use an ink pad for this, but I've got the pens out, so one. Just looking to see the name of it. 2. 3. And then I'm going to ink up my string, my balloon strings, and just sort of stamp them anywhere I fancy, really. There's no sciencey sort of stuff to it particularly. There we go, 3 of those, then I can punch out my little balloons. Oh, that just went on the floor. To rummage for that. Did that one go on the floor as well? Oh, I don't know where that one went to at all. Yeah, they're on the floor. Ow. That was my head. Oh, it's all fun and games here. Okay, so snail on the back of this. And down on here. And then I'm going to lift these up in differing ways. I want some of them flatter than others. So I grab my mini glue dots, and I've lost my piercing tool. So I'll have one that goes flat off there. I'm going to roll a mini glue dot up into a little ball. Put that on there. I'm going to take a couple of these. Actually make 3 of them, and that is my little huge party bag. And oh my goodness, and the light has changed completely, so it's not as naturally coloured as it should be. Oh dear, it's the sun's half up coming out. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon.